Hello there. My name is John Devidas. I lead up development for Neo Blockchain based up in Seattle, Washington. And today, it is my privilege to share with you how we are making Neo the most developer-friendly blockchain platform in the industry. I want to step back just for a couple of minutes to give you context on the Neo toolkit for .NET. So we announced this last year, September, and we shipped V1 of the toolkit in January. Since then, we've gotten very good feedback. I want to thank all of the developers out there, especially those on VS Code who have given us feedback, who have used the toolkit, and who have sent us notes of appreciation. We're really very grateful that developers like what we have shipped. You can access the toolkit from the VS Code marketplace. If you go in and just type in blockchain, we are right in the top tier. The toolkit, as well as the Visual Dev Tracker and the Smart Contract Debugger. Now, I will give you a quick walkthrough of the toolkit, as well as the goals that we set out to accomplish when we shipped V1 back in January. So here we are on the VS Code Marketplace site. And as you can see, the Neo Blockchain Toolkit. Let's give you a quick sense of the key goals. One was to be an out-of-the-box experience. Second was to be a one-stop shop so that developers did not have to go to multiple locations to get the compiler, the debugger, the private net, and so on, as well as one IDE, one tool set with a built-in private net, a real-world private net to enable a frictionless edit, build, debug, deployment cycle all the way through, and to have symmetry and consistency across the private net, the test net, as well as the main net. Now we do have a tutorial. Show you a quick view of the tutorial here. And again, I'm not going to walk you through all of the details, but certainly, either on Windows or Mac or Linux, feel free. I certainly would recommend give it a drive, and always happy to hear your feedback. So thank you on that one. At Consensus this week, we are announcing, Neo is announcing that we have released time travel debugging support on blockchains for the very first time. So what exactly is time travel debugging? As a developer, I'm sure there are many times when you've thought it would be awesome if only I could go back in time and fix a code issue. Thus far, obviously, debugging. In fact, if you step back in time, pun intended, to last year, even regular debugging was quite a nightmare on blockchain platforms. And late last summer, we released the Neo Smart Contract Debugger for C#, Python, and so on. The goal was to provide an experience that is comparable to what a mainstream developer has when they are working on Amazon Web Services or Windows Azure or Google and so on. Now this time we are raising the bar. Microsoft pioneered this notion of time travel debugging and essentially gives you the ability to move back and to move forward. And what this does uniquely is for complex bugs where sometimes it's very difficult, if not impossible, to step forward, that you can go back and obviously fix these sometimes insidious bugs. All right, so let's step into VS Code. Step was a pun, by the way. Here I have the Neo Blockchain Toolkit for .NET installed. You can see over here the extension, the toolkit, the smart contract debugger, and the Visual Dev Tracker. I do have a few things loaded here as well. So in this case, again, given the amount of time, let me give you a good feel for what this looks like in terms of using the toolkit. Fairly simple function, again, given the limitations of time for this session. Over here, you can see, step Obviously, continue, step over, step into, step out, step back. So very interesting. So let me show you again very quickly. Let's step into this. There we go. Nothing unusual. Step into, classic. But now what? If we step back, there we go. So think about the possibility, being able to use Neo's time travel debugging as a debugger, obviously for C Sharp, Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, and more, to be able to debug complex scenarios. Certainly, those cases where sometimes it's not so easy without the trace to be able to understand exactly what happened. And further, especially if you're doing team development or pair programming, to be able to very quickly say, look, here is the trace, and share with your colleague or colleagues, which makes it so much simpler and so much less friction for them to be able to understand, what may have transpired. So in terms of productivity, in terms of pioneering leadership, we are very happy to announce the availability, the launch of time travel debugging on the Neo toolkit on the Neo blockchain as of this week. We have a whole portfolio of features that we are sharing broadly this week. And again, in the interest of time, the second key thing I would like to share that we are announcing this week at Consensus is the new Visual Token Designer. What is this? This essentially is a standards-based approach to realizing our vision of the smart economy. As you might be aware, NEO's vision from the very beginning, 4 or 5 years ago, was to realize what we call the smart economy, to digitize any and all assets. And in this context, we've been very happy and certainly very proud to work with the teams at Microsoft and the Token Taxonomy Framework and the TTC. They have done some amazing work to build a base substrate. Microsoft has really pioneered this approach. And we are very proud, very happy to say that we are building the leading developer experience to enable developers to be able to design, architect, to visualize, and eventually to code gen from the token designer onto C Sharp or Python and so on in terms of the smart contract code. So with that context, let me again give you a quick demo of our new Visual Token Designer. You can see, obviously, again, on the VS Code platform, we have built a number of extensions. I have a few examples, but first, over here on the left, you can see New Express, the private net. In this case, I have a few instances, obviously our main net, our test net, and so on. I have a few test chains as well. On the left-hand side, for folks who are familiar with the TTF, the token taxonomy definitions, these are the formulae. We have some sample definitions, if you will. This one actually is a ticket token for the Euro 2020. And as you can see, being a ticket, it's a whole non-fungible token. Obviously, there is supply control. There is only so many tickets you can sell for an event. Indivisible, obviously, because you can't take a ticket and give it to multiple people. Of course, you could transfer it. Certainly, if you have a ticket and if for whatever reason you're unable to go, you want to transfer it, and you could possibly delegate it. And here on the lower right, you see the definition of this token in very precise terms. Another one is maybe art. If you have art, or another one could be a licensed diploma. And again, in this case, it would be a singleton, obviously. If I have a diploma, it's a singleton. It's only one instance. It's obviously indivisible, and so on and so forth. So again, very happy, very pleased to announce this week, and very happy with the work as well we've been doing with the teams at the TTC, TTF, as well as Microsoft. So we're hoping you will enjoy playing with this and certainly giving us your feedback as well. Our vision from the very beginning has been to build the most developer-friendly blockchain platform. And we hope and we expect and we would love to see your feedback. However, between the time travel debugger, the visual token designer, as well as the substantial amount of investment and assets that we have delivered, we believe we are well on our journey to making the Neo chain certainly one of the, if not the most dev friendly. Once again, I appreciate your time. You have a very good event, and thank you.